there are two kinds of motivation. The first is external motivation, and the second is inner motivation. External motivation means to be inspired by rewards that others offer. If your boss says work hard and you will get a promotion, that is an external motivation. Now, in that case, the key to your inspiration lies in the hands of others. Tomorrow, he does not give you the promotion, you get demotivated. However, if we are internally motivated, we can always tap into that source irrespective of the external environment. Inspiration or the lack of it don't have to come from the outside. They can all happen from the inside. Remember this formula all your life. If you develop an intense desire, you will then make a firm resolve. When you have a firm resolve, you will put in immense effort, and that is how you will become. But if your desire is weak, the resolve will be mild, the effort will be marginal, and that is how you will become. So, if we wish to lead an inspired life, we must learn to develop the quality of inner motivation. And how do you get motivated from within? Give yourself a strong reason, a strong why. When you have a strong reason for doing something, you automatically become motivated. If you wish to be inspired to follow that healthy diet, if you wish to be inspired to stick to your daily regimen of exercise and yoga every day, convince yourself of the benefits you will get from that regimen. Convince yourself of the harm you will cause yourself by not sticking to the regimen. That is why power. This why power is extremely powerful. We people think the mind is not under my control, but that's not really true. If the intellect decides something is important, it has the ability to hold the mind in its control. Consider, for example, you have a weakness for some delicacy, some butterscotch or chocolate chip ice cream, and you have been fasting for 2 days. After 2 days, your friend brings for you the ice cream. Now the mind yearns for it. I want that. The mind asks the intellect, there is great pleasure in front of me. Can we indulge? The intellect sanctions, go ahead. And the intellect has instructed the mind has instructed the hand, and the hand has put the spoon there and is bringing the spoon to the mouth. At that moment, if your second friend comes and says,
Shakur sir.
What are you doing? You wish to die?
Hello.
Die? What do you mean?
Shakur
I
sir.
mean there is poison in it, potassium cyanide. Intellect says potassium cyanide, this is dangerous, throw it.
बोला
The
सर.
intellect instructs the
आवाज
mind
clear
has
आहे का?
instructed the hand, and the hand has
Yes,
chucked
yes.
that ice
व्यवस्थित
cream.
एकदम क्लियर है.
Here, this
you.
person has suddenly
सगळ्यांनी
got
आशा
the
मॅडम तुमचा आवाज
ability
येतो का?
to
check करा,
resist.
कारण काल थोडंसं
Where did it come
वेगळा
from?
सरांचा प्रॉब्लेम झालेला.
It was the power
madam.
of the intellect over
madam.
the mind.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
You
yes.
want to test his
Okay.
detachment?
Yeah.
Offer him $1 million. Sir, eat it. I will give you $1 million. He says, what will a dead man do with $1 million? I don't want it. Oh, But have you seen anybody put poison in it? No. Have you ever seen poison in your life? No. Then my friend has told me there is poison there. Is your friend absolutely reliable and honest and trustworthy? No, I've caught him telling lies a few times. A friend who is not completely trustworthy, his one statement enabled you to desist from indulging in that object of pleasure which was the ice cream, merely by the conviction of the intellect. So, if we can tap into the why power, that will then enable us
Yes,
to
sir, bola.
enthuse ourselves
Yes.
and bring
Clear.
out
And
my
the
video?
best in us in the desired task and
म्हणताय, sir?
enable us
video
to bring
दिसतोय?
out the best we have
व्हिडिओ
to perform the
व्हिडिओ दिसतोय ना
task
आपल्याला आता तो
at hand.
नाही माझा दिसतोय का?
How
तुमचा
then
व्हिडिओ सुरू आहे आणि
can we
आवाज येतोय. ओके, थँक्यू.
develop this why power? How then can we convince our intellect to tap in to this vast reservoir of inspiration? We will discuss this some other time.
Good morning to all of you. This is Professor Maneshwar Shirode, MBA College of Commerce.
Good morning, Shirode sir.
We'll begin the session in a minute.
Hey, technical session.
Dear all participants, welcome.
Hello, good morning,
once again.
Shirode sir.
हाँ, बोला ना सर.
Shirode sir. Am I audible?
हाँ सर बोला.
Shirode sir.
हाँ सर बोला ना.
Am I audible?
Yes sir, you are audible.
Yeah. We can start.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the international webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness. I'm sure that you all had an intellectual feast yesterday, and it's time to continue with the same today as well. Today we have with us Professor Deepak Shenkar as the chairperson and Professor Dr. Natalia Solvi as a resource person. To begin our proceedings, I request Professor Dr. Samir Pawar to introduce the chairperson, Professor Dr. Deepak Shenkar, sir. Over to you, Pawar, sir.
Very good morning to one and all. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome and introduce this session chairman, Honorable Dr. Deepak Shenkar sir, who enriched with BSc Electronics, MPEd, PhD, SET, NIS in athletics, and professional course in fitness training. Dr. Deepak sir is leading Modern College Pune as the Director of Physical Education and visiting faculty at Department of Physical Education, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune. Sir has very good leadership qualities. As a result, he is the President of Sports, Education and Fitness from Pune. He was the Secretary and presently the Secretary of Pune University. He was the Joint Secretary and presently the Secretary of Pune University Physical Education Teachers Association. Dr. Deepak sir he is recognized.
Thank you, Kumar sir, for introducing the chairperson of.
Hello, Samir. Are you?
Your voice was clear, Samir sir.
Sorry for the
I think
interruption.
there was
Dr.
some
Deepak sir
technical-
has. Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, right.
Am I
Please.
audible now?
Yes,
Yes.
please
Dr.
proceed.
Deepak sir has keen interest in research. He is a recognized research guide at Department of Physical Education, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune. 17 research scholars awarded MPhil, 3 research scholars awarded PhD, and several students have been able to crack the NET and SET exam of physical education under Sir's able guidance. Sir has published 13 research papers in well-reputed international journals. Sir also takes pride to discovering the various corners of the country on his Royal Enfield and trekking the renowned forts in and around Maharashtra. Recently, on the occasion of 75th Independence Day, as a tribute to the freedom fighters, Dr. Deepak sir completed walk of 75,000 steps. Due to his exemplary work in the field of physical education and sports, he is honored with Best Teacher Award by the Pune University in the year 2018 and 19. Now, I welcome and request Honorable Deepak Shenkar sir, to lead this session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pawar sir, for such a wonderful introduction of the chairperson. Before I hand over the session to the chairperson, I request Professor Dr. Asha Bengle Madam to introduce our today's person for the third technical session of the international webinar on yoga. Over to you, Asha Madam.
Dr. Asha, madam.
Madam, your voice is.
Asha ma'am, unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you sir, and thank you Dr. Shobha Shinde, ma'am, and CK Goel College for giving me this opportunity to introduce and welcome today's resource person. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you today's resource person of the first session of today's schedule. We have here with us an eminent personality in the field of traditional and therapeutic yoga, Professor Dr. Natalia Solve ma'am. I am Dr. Asha Bengle, Director of Physical Education from MES Abbasab Garwari College, Karve Road, Pune. Respected faculty members, resource scholars, and my fellow colleagues, today is the last day of 2 days international webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness organized by Physical Education and Sports Department of C.K. Goyal College, Pune. Now giving an introduction of Professor Dr. Natalia Solve ma'am is a professor at University of Salvador teaching theory and practice of the yoga techniques. In 2018, she started traditional yoga school called Atmabodha. Same year, she started her association with Dr. M.L. Gharote and the Lonavala Yoga Institute in Argentina. She has completed her PhD in 2000 from University of Salvador, Argentina. Before getting her PhD, she graduated in Eastern Studies with expertise in yoga and Hinduism in 1997. Then she graduated as yoga therapist from Lonavala Yoga Institute, India. After that, she graduated as scientific astrological counselor for Centro Astrologico de Buenos Aires and Diploma of Honor in 2010, and also graduated as a psychological counselor in 2012. She is teaching traditional and therapeutic yoga for more than 30 years in private yoga studio San Jorge Village in Argentina. From 1996 to 2000, she was part of the yoga teachers team that made the startup of the Lonavala Yoga Institute in Argentina. She is director of the Advanced Therapies Center since 2012. She attended and participated as a lecturer at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th International Yoga Workshop at Lonavala and international webinar in Mumbai and West Bengal. Since 2020, she conducts yoga seminar for yoga instructors and students in Switzerland. Presently, she is working on translation of ancient manuscript and writing book on Dr. M.L. Gharote teachings, also translating his books into Spanish. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fortunate enough to get Professor Dr. Natalia Madam as a resource person today. May I now request Professor Dr. Natalia Madam to share her thoughts on the topic self-care through yoga. Thank you. Dr. Natalia Madam, please.
Thank you very much for your kind words of welcoming. I will share my screen. I cannot share my screen. It says I'm not able to. Can you please allow me to share?
Just wait a minute, madam.
Yes.
Please try, madam, once again.
Great.
Yeah, it's visible, madam. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Please proceed.
Okay. So good morning for you all. Here in Argentina, it's very late at night. I am very glad to be with you and to share my experiences and the knowledge I receive from my teachers with you. The topic I've chosen to speak to you today is self-care through yoga. And we will see which are the present threats to health and mental fitness, why to self-care, why to choose self-care, why yoga for this choice of self-care, and how does yoga work to allow us to self-care. And then we will see some of the suggested practicals. Well, the present threats are, as we all know, in the whole world, much higher than usual threats to health and mental fitness. But we can say conditions are particular, but the way we respond to this stress of the external conditions is pretty much the same from very ancient times. This is our stress system response. Which are the threats, the multiple threats we have to face today? There has to do with health and immunity, not only because of the virus, also vaccine is a threat and lockdown is another threat. We are going through isolation and distrust, not only in social and affective areas of our life, but also civil rights and materialistic support are giving us uncertainty and fear. And all this leads to a loss of hope and loss of meaning of life. And this is a spiritual stress. Stress is number one disturbance to health and quality of life. There are many kinds of stress, and the big problem is when this stress condition becomes chronic. When this stress condition becomes chronic, there is loss of balance in all aspects of the personality. We can see in this slide the vicious cycle of mental unrest provoked by the pandemic situation. And I have covered here in this slide all the aspects we have to go through, because the first problem is we have lost control of our own lives. This leads to chronic stress, which brings about physical symptoms and, of course, lower our immunity. We lost our balance, our vibrational balance. We will see later on what is the vibrational balance. We have a result to a poor lifestyle. We have no choice. We are very much limited by the situation. And this can lead to a negative outlook of life with depression and anxiety. But of course, we have the choice to get into a virtuous cycle. And this virtuous cycle is a cycle of balanced condition. We can achieve through yoga by taking the responsibility of self-care. This responsibility will allow us to control the stress condition, to reach a peace of mind condition in which health and fitness are possible. Immunity will increase. We will start the inner fire for trust in the higher principles of life, with vibrational balance and a feeling of satisfaction with life. Of course, all this goes hand in hand with a conscious lifestyle. So self-care is about to take responsibility over one's own life. We cannot blame others. We are the only ones who can build a good life for ourselves. And yoga is a self-help therapy. Yoga is a way to self-help. And the only one who can take this decision is each one of us. The key point for getting into the virtuous cycle is to have good goals. If you have good goals, you will find a way through good actions to plant the good seeds and get the good results. The problem is when we have no goals or we have the bad ones. And that's where yoga can help, because yoga is not only a system of practices, a system of psychophysiological exercises. It is also a code of values. It is also a proposition on life, why to live, which is our objective with life. And that's how we can be motivated to self-care. We can just have a game with this term on self, because there is an outer self and there is an inner self. And we can write self with a small s, and we can have self with a capital S, because the difference relies on if we take care of our external being, physical being, or we start to take care of our spiritual, of our inner being. And I have now some words from my teacher, Dr. Manmat Garote. He always tells me we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having physical experiences. So there are 3 different levels of the self. We have a physical self. We all know about it. We can see it. We can touch it. We are much involved in this physical self. And nowadays, there are many misunderstandings regarding yoga, because people reach to yoga for improving the physical self, and they don't realize all the treasures that are in yoga related to the mental self and the spiritual self. So beside this physical self, we have our cognitions. That is the way we think about life and the way we think about ourselves, and our emotions, who are derived from these cognitions. And when our mental self is not fit, cognitions are wrong, cognitions are negative, and all the outlook on life gets dark. Spiritual self has to do with the connection with the higher self. There is the individual spiritual self, and there is this cosmic self, and yoga wants to awaken the connection between the individual inner self and this cosmic higher self. And this is not just one of 3 levels. This is the level, the most important self-care we can aspire to. Our aspiration has to go there, because once we get this connection with the higher self, mental aspects and physical aspects of our life immediately get in a good condition. So both body and mind must be taken care of. Health is not simply physical. Health is more mental than physical, and psychic disturbances are reflected in bodily disorders. We know stress starts in the outlook we have on life, but it leads to disarrangements in the physical body. And that is the way we can say nothing is purely physical. There is nothing purely mental either. We are everything. The physical, the mental, the emotional aspects are together in us, and yoga takes care of all these aspects. How? We will see later on how yoga works on these 3 levels. Why we choose yoga for this self-care? Because yoga goes to the root of all disturbances. Yoga takes care of these 3 aspects at the same time. It does not need to take them apart and take care differently. Just practices one structure, practices one discipline that will reach to all the 3 levels. And how to reach to all the 3 levels? Getting our actions towards the condition of the mind. The purpose of yoga is to make men happy, through the calmness of the mind. And with this term happiness, we have to include health and mental fitness. There is no happiness if the body is not in a proper condition, and there is no happiness if the mind is not settled. So with the term happy, we include health and mental fitness, which is our today's topic. So we have to continue our presentation with the very interesting topic of what is yoga, because we have many definitions and sometimes we get confused because apparently these definitions are different one from the other, but we will see during our presentation that these are different aspects of only one thing. The traditional definitions on yoga are to have control over the mind. This is Patanjali's definition. To get an union between the inner self and the higher self or supreme being. This is the Upanishad's definition. To reach a balanced state. And this is the definition of the Bhagavad Gita. And Dr. Emel Garote, my teacher, he developed this definition on integration of personality, where all the levels of the being are working harmoniously with each other. These four definitions are just showing light on different aspects of the same condition, that is, this condition where the person is perfectly balanced, personality is integrated. Health is there, mental fitness is there, happiness is there. And I would like to add my own definition. Very humbly, I have my own definition. For me, yoga, it's a science of life and the human being. And as you see in the slide, for me, it's the user's guide to life. We are born to this world and we learn history, mathematics, languages, but nobody teaches us how to properly use this psychophysiological body we have. And through this science of life, yoga takes care of all aspects of our human life and of the human experience also. The mind, the body, the spiritual aspect, the inner self, the outer self, our social life included. How does yoga do this? Through the psychophysical conditioning of our human body. And if we go especially to Hatha Yoga, we can quote Hatha Pradipika, where it says that Hatha Yoga offers a refuge to those who are afflicted by the sufferings of life, with no specification of what kind of sufferings. All sufferings can be overcome by yoga. And how does yoga work to overcome all these sufferings? How does yoga work to bring about the balanced condition? And we will study shortly, this is a short presentation, a little bit about 3 levels by which yoga could be understood. And again, these levels show light different kinds of aspects of the same condition, that is the balanced condition. And we will see about psychophysiological level, brain level, and vibrational level. Yoga is synonym of complete health. There are 2 words that can be used as equal to yoga. One is svastha, that means to be established in one's self, to be centered on the inner being. And the other word that is derived from the same root is svasthya, that means good health. So we can say that good health and being established in oneself go hand in hand. And the key to these both conditions is the mental stability or the conditioning of balance in the psychophysiological system. How to achieve this balanced condition? Well, the key word is homeostasis. And homeostasis is the ability or the tendency of a living organism, cell or group of organs or systems in the body, to keep the conditions inside in the same, despite any changes in the conditions around. This homeostasis can be achieved through relaxation response. This is a term, we will see a scientific term that describes the conditions in mind and body that we can achieve through the yoga practices. By this relaxation response, the stress condition is removed and the inner healing power is restored. And this happens in all three levels we just mentioned, the psychophysiological level, the brain level, and the pranic system or vibrational level. This inner healing power, all creatures have in them. It's an inner intelligence. It's an inner power that orchestrates growth, repairing, and healing. In nature, we can see all animals heal themselves by resting, by fasting. They don't need medicines. We only humans have lost the trust in this inner power. And for this inner power to work properly, we need two things. One is to restore the balance condition. So by stress, we lose this balance and we have to learn how to bring it back. But also the knowledge of the inner or the higher self is needed, because this allowed us to recognize, to call for, to rely on this inner power. Because if we deny that this exists, it is harder to make it work. In yoga, body condition is very important. If you study Patanjali, his great contribution is that he trusted the physiological level to achieve results in the psychological level. And this I like to explain with my metaphor on the container-content relationship. You know, we have two kinds of soap. We had liquid soap and we had solid soap. And those different soaps need different packaging. You cannot get your liquid soap on the paper packaging. And the other way around is not possible either. You cannot have your solid soap on your dispenser for liquid soap. And that is how mind and body work. In certain conditions of your body, it is not possible to develop different conditions in the mind. So if you allowed the body to reach a certain balance, immediately emotions and thoughts will follow the condition of the body. We will start our explanation on how yoga works by the psychophysiological level. This is the one I will develop the most because I think this is the information that will motivate you the most. Yoga and the relaxation response. Relaxation response is a scientific name given to a psychophysiological condition of deep rest in which physical, mental, and emotional negative effects of stress are erased. That means relaxation response is the opposite to the stress or fight or flight reaction. This is the definition that Dr. Herbert Benson did in 1975 in his book that was sold all world round. It was a top 10 book on 1975 on the scientific research he did over 36 people in deep meditation. And there he discovered all the parasympathetic reactions, body, mind, and all the organs to the practice of meditation and also to the practice of yoga. And this way, in 1975, he puts a name to the conditions Swami Kuvalayananda described early in the 1920s, where Swami Kuvalayananda, by his scientific experiments on yoga, he said that the only system that could develop the parasympathetic is the yogic system of exercises consisting of asana, pranayama, mudra, etc. And why is parasympathetic response so important? Because it's the function of our nervous system who takes care of restoring homeostasis. Remember, we spoke about homeostasis, which is this leading our body to a perfectly balanced condition when conditions in the outside are disturbing our balance. So to explain a little about the autonomic nervous system, there are two branches. One is responsible for the stress reaction. This is the sympathetic nervous system. This is not the bad guy. Stress reaction is responsible to keep us safe. It's a natural, it's a useful reaction. The problem is when this becomes chronic, as we are facing today with this pandemic situation, chronic stress. And this condition of chronic stress leads to poor health and mental unrest. The other branch of the autonomic nervous system is the parasympathetic nervous system, who is responsible for restoring homeostasis after stress. And how does this happen? Through the vagus nerve. And by this parasympathetic nervous system, we have two kinds of response. One is the rest and digest, and this is a very funny name, rest and digest, but it shows us that there is a kind of homeostasis that happens after we eat and when we are sleeping, and other conditions we will see. But also, vagus nerve is responsible of relaxation response, and this is something higher than just homeostasis. It has a spiritual dimension. It has a healing dimension that is very important for us. The vagus nerve is the axis of the parasympathetic nervous system and responsible of the relaxation response. It's a very, very, very long nerve. It's a cranial nerve. It starts in the brain and it goes all through the mouth, larynx, the throat, and all the internal organs, up to the bottom of the colon. All the internal organs are connected by this vagus nerve to the brain. It controls the immune system. It is a natural tranquilizer. And it's responsible of the information coming and going from the internal organs to the brain. So when we say yoga, it's a mind-body activity, or yoga brings mind and body connection, it is through this nerve that this is happening. And we said that parasympathetic nervous system was responsible of rest and digest, which is an involuntary response. After eating, you will enter a relaxation situation. After in sleeping, or after exercising, or in a situation of intimacy or recreation, all these are natural ways to get into a kind of homeostasis. But relaxation response is something more, because it needs a decision to trigger a response by some practice. So you have to perform an action. Any yoga practice can do. You have to perform an action with an intention, the intention to arise this relaxation response, and with the focus of attention in the experience. And this relaxation response goes beyond just physical relaxation. It even goes beyond mental relaxation, because it allowed us to reach spiritual states, like simple spiritual states as altruism, calmness, inner peace, to higher spiritual situations like the experience of ecstasies and the knowledge of the Supreme Being. When there is relaxation response in a regular basis in our life, we start to feel at ease with the world. So the chronic stress drops and we start living a satisfactory life. When the vagus nerve is stimulated and allowed us to develop the relaxation response, effects can be seen in all three levels: physical, psychological, and spiritual. In the physical level, muscle tension will drop, heart rate will drop, digestive system will increase its function, immunity will increase, energy levels will increase. All the inflammatory reactions that are responsible for different syndromes and symptoms will decrease. Even the thickness of your cerebral cortex will increase. So you will become more intelligent and more willpower will be there. Oral cavity muscles are relaxed, so you can easily communicate and you will have more satisfactory social life and effective life. In the psychological level, you will reach emotional stability with positive emotions and positive beliefs, more concentration, more memory, and easily learning. At the spiritual level, well, you will achieve spiritual experiences like intuition, the inner feeling of security, like somebody is supporting me, some force is keeping me in good direction and feeling protected. Your willpower will increase, your self-control will increase, and then self-care will be possible every day. But what happens at the brain level? Because we saw relaxation response increase the cerebral cortex. What happened in the brain level with stress? What happens with relaxation response? Under stress, the brain loses balance and the conscious brain, the intellect brain, turns off. And the emotional brain, the lower mind brain, turns on. So we become emotional persons with negative feelings like aggressiveness, selfishness, fear, anxiety. We feel blocked, or we are much impulsive in our actions. We are unable to adapt to the situations and we only see the problems. This is the lower mind who is dominating. But when we get out of stress through relaxation response, our brains become balanced and the conscious brain turns on and the emotional brain, we cannot say turns off, it's not right, but it reduces its activity and it turns to positive emotions. Person is calm, altruistic, and friendly, and is able to adapt and to see opportunities around. So higher mind and good judgment are dominating the mental condition. When we practice Hatha Yoga, it's very interesting to realize that we can stimulate the integration of the hemispheres of the brain through working with stimulating the body, the two sides of the body. We will see in the practicals how can we do this. Our brain has two hemispheres, right one, left one. They have different duties. They perform different actions in our body. They command different abilities. There is no one that is good and the other that is bad. We need both of them working together. And when there is stress, they cannot work together. They become separated and we lose resources and we lose abilities. So brain must be reconnected, left with right, and this hemispheric integration can be achieved through the practice of yoga. On vibrational level, we have to realize we are vibrational beings. Our cells are vibrating all the time in different levels of vibration. These levels of vibration can be measured on hertz. And when our vibrational level matches the one of the Earth, which is called the Schumann resonance, and it is measured in 7.83 hertz, when we vibrate in the same level of the Earth, we are in balance. So there is health, there is mental fitness, there is good immunity, there is joy and positive feelings. But when we get out of this balance, all kind of symptoms appears, and those are the symptoms modern life in the cities everybody is experiences as an epidemic, like anxiety, depression, low immunity, negative feelings and emotions, poor health in general. Because artificial living turns us out from this vibrational balance. And by nature, by sunlight, by exercising outdoor, and especially by the practice of Hatha Yoga and Mantra Yoga, we can tune ourselves into this perfect vibrational balance in matching the vibrations of the Earth. This vibrational balance can be understood in the pranic body level or the pranamaya kosha. We have a body that is made of light, that is made of pranic energy, and this pranic body could be expanded and could be increased, and by this we can reach a much better mental, physical and spiritual condition. Also, when this pranic body is expanded, our brain waves can be harmonious and become alpha waves. So which are the suggested practicals for achieving this relaxation response, for achieving the integration of the brain hemispheres, and for increasing our vibrational level? Well, there are many, many practices we will see, but before that, you have to realize that yoga has a philosophy, but yoga is essentially a practical science. So to reach the results, you have to practice. And even the practices start with the body, they don't end with the body, and they want to reach the higher levels of the self. And before we get into the practicals and the advices I will give you about the practice, you have to remember these three words: intention, action, and awareness. If there is no intention, your actions, even though they will maybe look like yoga, they will not be yoga. And if there is no awareness, either your actions will look like yoga, but this will not lead to a yoga condition. You need three of them: an intention, an action, and the awareness condition. And of course, the most popular practice of yoga nowadays is asana, and it is reasonable that it is popular because it's very, very effective. The remedy for stress is stretching, used to say my teacher, Dr. Emel Garote. Stretching happens in the muscles, and through the stretching of the muscles, this stress condition is released, and the results you don't get only in the body, you also get in the mind. But we cannot reduce asana to a muscular experience. The practice of asana should be done with a certain spirit, a certain attitude. You should keep the posture in a static condition with a passive stretch. You don't have to strain yourself, and you have to move in slow, very slow motions, because this is the opposite of stress. In stress, you move fast. In stress, you change all the time. In stress, you are under pressure. Asana should be the opposite. It should be as easy as to raise your hand. But going further than muscle level, we have to go to the spine movements. Focus on the spine, 4 spine movements. Why? Because not only because spine is one of the most important organs of the body, but also because the spine is linked to the nervous system. But the other reason is when you are under stress, blood goes to the arms and the legs to react towards the dangers. That is why we call it fight or flight reaction. And blood leaves the internal organs. Under stress condition, goes to the limbs, arms and legs. And to revert this condition of stress, you have to keep blood going back to the center of the body. And when the asana, traditional asana, work mostly on the trunk and the spine, the blood flow goes to the internal organs and the stress condition is released. Also going beyond muscles and reaching the brain level through the combination of 3 kinds of asana. I have made a classification. This is not traditional. This is another classification. You could divide asana in 3 groups. One is those who work on the left side first, on the right side then. The other cross the body, left arm goes and reach left hand, left leg, and the opposite. Right arm goes and reach left leg, like in the Vakrasana or the twist. And the third group is the asana that work all the body at the same time. So if you want to stimulate the brain, you have to work on the 3 kinds of asana alternatively, because this will go from right side of the body to left side of the brain, and from left side of the body to the right side of the brain. And then integrating these stimuli with the integrated whole body asana. Also, polarities must get integrated by the practice of asana. So you have to combine going forward, going backward, going up, going down, working on the left, working on the right. And by these 3 kinds of polarities, you also will get integration of the brain. Specifically for vagus nerve activation, I recommend working on mudra, drishti, and pranayama. These are very powerful techniques on vagus nerve. You don't need much time. With a short time, you can have this practice bring you very good results. Don't forget Shavasana. Shavasana is the most important practice. You also can work on your brain integration through guided relaxation. You can guide your own self. And for vibrational balance, I recommend very simple practice, Brahmari Pranayama and or Om repetition. And with this, you will have a full practice, but please, no need to hurry up. You just have to keep your practices until you have one of these 3 signs. For each practice, you can wait until you feel a change in your breathing patterns happening, or increase saliva, you have to swallow, or the change in the muscle tone, one of the 3 or all the 3 signs of a balanced condition. Practice must lead to a feeling of silence and of inner space. So please take it easy with the practice, keep calm, and don't overcrowd your practice. You don't have to do a very long practice, and you don't have to take many practices inside one session. Please keep it simple. And take responsibility. Take commitment with your practice. Nobody will practice in your place. Nobody can practice for yourself. You have to carry on with your practice for a long time with continuity. That's how you will reach results. And don't wait for when you are thirsty to make the well. Start your practice when you feel fine, and you will always keep your health and your mental fitness. Thank you very much. Any question? I will
Thank you,
feel
madam.
happy to answer your questions. Any questions are there?
Yeah, there are one or two questions. Before we move on to question answer session, there are, okay, we'll take question answer session first. There are two questions. One is by Mohammed. It's a very interesting question. Now I'm in stress. He states this way: now I'm in stress. How can I remove this condition?
Well, I have offer many practices. The ones I mentioned about mudra and drishti, these are very easy practices with your tongue or the head and neck movements or the eye movements. These are very simple to practice. The point is, if you don't prepare yourself, you don't regularly practice, to get best results, it's better that you regularly practice, because then when you need the practice to be effective, you will have it quickly. If you never practice, it's not so spontaneous to get the results. So you have to be used to the practices.
Thank you for such a wonderful explanation. Now we have one more question. The question is very simple, actually. How to maintain proper fitness and wellness through yoga?
By the practice of yoga. No possible without the practice. You have to choose some practices. You have to choose a teacher. You have to choose a book. Sometimes, if you cannot get in touch with a teacher, you can choose a good book and follow the advice of the author. But traditional practices are the best and are very simple. It's not complicated to practice yoga. It's very simple. Just trust simple practices. A few asana, a few mudra like head and neck movement, the tongue stretching, some om chanting, conscious of the breathing. This is what I advise.
Thank you, madam. We have only two questions, and I'm very happy that you very nicely explained how to make use of yoga to keep ourselves fit and fine. Thank you, madam. Now I request Professor Dr. Deepak Shankar sir to comment on the session. Over to you, Deepak Shankar sir.
Hello and welcome once again to everyone. I think it is 2:25 in the morning in the Salvador. Am I right? Yeah. It is about 10:15 or 11 in the India, but it is 2:30 in the Salvador. Thank you, Dr. Natalia. She is an expert in yoga and Hinduism. She enlightened our minds with an under the scheme of yoga for health and mental fitness. She has explained self-care through yoga. Dr. Natalia has also explored the yoga collectively takes care of physical, psychological, spiritual level that is called as a Niramay Jivan. She has also talked about the effect of vagal tone modulation at different levels with scientific evidence. Hatha Yoga helps in hemispherical integration, bioelectromagnetic balance, proper way of practice of yoga. She is also deliberately given some examples and some explanation regarding how yoga can help to develop and maintain ourselves in this pandemic or even in the regular situation. I'm very thankful to Dr. Natalia for her knowledgeable lecture on this occasion. There are some comments already given by the participants, and they have given thumbs up for your explanation and your knowledge. I'm also again thank to you for your guidance, and also thankful to all the participant and organizer for organizing this wonderful session for at this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing the session in a lucid manner. It's time to end the session with vote of thanks. So I request Professor Surekha Madam to propose vote of thanks. Over to you, Surekha Madam.
Good morning to all. I am Surekha Harpude, librarian, Srimati C.K. Goel, Arts and Commerce College, Dapodi, Pune. Thank you so much for this session. Chairperson, Professor Dr. Deepak Shenkar, and resource person, Professor Dr. Natalia Solve. Madam, your topic is important in terms of health. This information is very helpful to all of us. Thank you for your fundamental guidance. Thanks again.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. So here we come to an end of technical session 3 and technical session 1 of day 2. We move on to the last session, that is technical session 4. And for this session, we have Professor Dr. Mahesh Deshpande as the chairperson. And we have Professor Dr. Manmat Garote as a resource person. To begin with the proceedings, I request Professor Rupesh Thopte sir to introduce the chairperson of technical session 4. Over to you, Rupesh sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Welcome all. Here we are gathered for the last session of this 2 days international webinar, which is on health, yoga for health and mental fitness. I welcome this session chairperson, Dr. Mahesh Narayan Rao Deshpande. Dear friends, it's given me immense pleasure to introduce a great personality with us, Dr. Mahesh Deshpande. He is currently working as an assistant professor at CACPE Pune. Dr. Deshpande has completed his master's degree and SET exam in physical education from Savitribai Phule University in 1995. He also completed his doctorate from Savitribai Phule University only in 2007. He has guided more than 50 MPEd students, 23 MPhil students, and 8 PhD students in their research work and have received their degrees. A researcher mind always. He has also developed a software for evaluation in physical education. Dr. Deshpande has presented and published more than 27 research papers at various national and international seminars. He is also an author of 2 books published on physical education syllabus and has also completed a minor research project sponsored by UGC. Friends, his biodata will go on and on. We are really honored to have such an intellectual and impressive personality with us as a chairperson of this session. I again welcome Dr. Deshpande on behalf of organizing committee and institution as a chairperson of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupesh sir, for such a wonderful introduction. Before we proceed further, I have an announcement to make. There are participants, those who are eager to provide feedback of international webinar. So the feedback link would be provided to all of you in the chat box towards the end of the session. So somewhere around 12:10, the feedback link would be posted in the chat box. So please wait patiently to provide your valuable feedback on this 2-day international webinar on yoga. Let's continue with the proceedings. Now it's time to introduce the resource person of technical session 4. And I request Professor Vidya Pathare Madam to do the honor. Over to you, Vidya Madam.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, one and all, and thank you for joining us today. I am Vidya Pathare from BG College, Pune. And on behalf of Organizing Committee, CK Goel Tapodi College, it is my privilege to introduce Honorable Dr. Manmat Gharote, sir, Director of the Lonavala Yoga Institute. Sir is a well-known personality in the field of yoga, and he is fully devoted to the field of yoga. He is having PhD in physical education, which is first PhD from Mumbai University. Sir has more than 25 publications based on ancient manuscripts in his name, including research papers and books, such as therapeutic references in traditional yoga texts, Amanaska Yoga, Amruta Vakyam of Gorakshanath, contribution of Swami Kuvalananda in the field of yoga and physical education, miraculous wisdom of Sadguru Sri Satam Maharaj, essence of spirituality, critical edition of selected Yoga Upanishad, Trishikhi Brahman Upanishad, Yoga Kundalya Upanishad, Yoga Chudamani Upanishad, Mandala Brahman Upanishad, Nada Bindu Upanishad, Dattatreya Yoga Shastra. He has conducted more than 125 yoga seminars in Latin American countries such as Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, European countries as Germany, Italy, Norway, Portugal, Asian countries such as Thailand and Sri Lanka. He received various honors and awards, including one from Fellow of the United Writers Association of India. He has conducted several articles and research papers related to yoga and physical education in reputed journals. Recently conducted more than 100 online seminars in all over the world. He also conducted 10 international yoga conferences and 4 international yoga workshops. Under his guidance, 4 students completed PhD and 14 students completed MPhil in physical education. He is advisor of several international yoga organizations. Sir has received several national and international awards. Recently, Sir has received DLID. Sir has given many invited talks and has represented papers at many national and international conferences. We are very fortunate to have him as our resource person. And sir, we look forward to hearing from you. I request Dr. Manmat Gharote, sir, to guide us during this international webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, sir. Thank
Please
you.
give me share screen. Yeah, it is there. Thank you. The screen is visible? Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Very good morning to everyone. It's a great honor, privilege to take part in this beautiful webinar. And first of all, I would like to convey very humble thanks to Srimati Goel, Art and Commerce Science, for organizing this timely webinar. Respected chairperson and my dear friend, Dr. Mahesh Deshpande ji, Dr. Rupesh Popte ji, Dr. Vidya Madam for introducing me, and the coordinator of this workshop, webinar, Dr. Shobha Shinde Madam, and all the stalwarts from the field of physical education, yoga education, and my dear brothers and sisters. Time is always short to speak something about such very huge topics. But as we have to reach up to the final conclusion today, I decided to speak something about very important topic, which is traditional yoga, the key of mental health. So as we know, the theme of this web conference is yoga and health and yoga for health and mental fitness. When we talk about this topic, the theme of the conference, and especially the topic related to this mental health, today I would like to speak on some few questions, and we try to understand the answers for this. The questions may be, what is traditional yoga? What is the concept of mental health? How to achieve mental health through traditional yogic system? We have to understand today 3 important questions. And definitely, although time is up to 12:10 given to me, 50 minutes or 1 hour, definitely we try to reach up to this certain conclusion today. So when we talk about ancient yoga tradition, as we all know, yoga is very ancient discipline. This came to us through different traditions. But unfortunately, now in modern era, old traditions of yoga are fast disappearing. And it is difficult for the modern teachers to be part of this tradition or traditional knowledge. And as all the modern teachers are deprived with this ancient, authentic and traditional knowledge, unfortunately, it is a danger in this modern era to understand really what is the aim of yoga or for what purpose you have to use yoga. Thanks to Professor Natalia for sharing her presentation, and she made my work a little bit easy. So here, we have to understand something about traditional yoga and how traditional yoga is useful in this modern era. So when we talk about tradition, basically there are 3 types of tradition we have in our Indian culture. And those 3 traditions are called subtle tradition, oral tradition, and written tradition. What is subtle tradition? This is the beauty of our Indian culture. Guru just used to remember the Shishya and transfers the knowledge about yoga or transfer the knowledge about spirituality. Just gazing towards the Shishya, just touching to the Shishya and transform the knowledge to him. That is called subtle tradition. The second tradition we have is called oral tradition. And what is oral tradition? The master, the teacher, try to transmit the knowledge through orally by giving discourses. And the third is called written tradition. What is the written tradition of yoga? All the knowledge, very powerful knowledge, is mentioned in all the ancient manuscripts, which is called Hasta Likhita in Marathi. They are called manuscripts. So basically, when we talk about traditional knowledge, there are 3 aspects: subtle, oral, and written. Now, those who are part of this traditional knowledge, they know that everything is mentioned in ancient manuscript. This is the beauty of our country, that everything is mentioned in ancient literature. But unfortunately, modern teachers are deprived with this knowledge. They don't know what is really written on those ancient manuscripts. They are not part of any kind of ancient tradition. That's why, unfortunately, modern world superimpose modern exercise system on yoga. And that's why today it is a clouded situation that we don't know really what is yoga and what for yoga to be used. So all the ancient trillion manuscripts are there by which we are capable to understand. And then from those manuscripts, we get number of paths of yoga by which we are capable to achieve aim of our life as a human. All such Tantra Yoga, Raja Yoga, Hatha, Laya, Nada, Amanaska, Mantra, Dhyana, all the very beautiful paths by which we are capable to understand what is the aim of this human birth. But unfortunately, those teachers are not part of tradition or traditional knowledge. Those teachers today are not having real knowledge about ancient writings, which is called Hasta Likhita, the manuscript. Unfortunately, they don't know this path and they just start distorting the styles of yoga. You open the website and you find all the useless types of yoga. And that's why today we don't know really what yoga is. So here we have to understand what is the criteria about the health, fitness, or how to stabilize this mind, or how to achieve this mental state stabilized. Time is short, but I would like to give just one reference to you, a great text 2000 years back written by great master Patanjali, and he explained very beautifully about that. What he mentioned, the health means perfect integration between all the 5 aspects of personality. If you want total health, if you want integrated personality, then we have to understand that there are 5 aspects of personality, which are physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual. Now the problem with the world, physical personality is the gross personality, and all other 4 personalities are subtle personalities. That's why people are not capable to understand that those personalities are also to be taken care of. As physical is only gross, people are running behind physical personality, but they are giving least importance to mental, emotional, social, and spiritual. So here, today, it is the basic structure. Wherever I speak, I like to speak on only this topic, and then I to cover a lot of things. But this is the fundamental idea of yoga. This is the fundamental idea of health. We don't want only physical fitness today. We also need mental stability. We also need emotional balance. We also need social maturity. And finally, we also need spiritual upliftment. Now, if we want total health, the integration between all the 5 aspects of personality is important. In this world, you may see some are physically fit, but not mentally. Some are mentally fit, but not physically. Some are physically fit, but they don't know how to behave in the society. Some are physically fit, but they don't know how to uplift their spiritual standard. So to understand what is physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, our idea must be very clear. What is physical personality? What is mental personality? Then only it is possible to achieve total integration. So what is physical health or physical personality? Physical health means just efficient functioning of all the organs and systems. That's all. We have different gross systems in our body. If our gross systems are working properly, just this is called physical health. But then what about our thoughts and ideas? Maybe person is physically fit, but witness his all the negative and destructive thoughts. For example, terrorism. Maybe terrorists are healthy than us. But why we tell them terrorist? Because the thoughts and ideas are corrupt. That's why when we talk about mental health, the control over thought is very, very important. And most of the time, our thoughts are also going toward negative sense. What is emotional health? Emotional health means freedom from emotional disturbances. Remember, Why we are disturbed? Because emotional problems are there, always giving trouble to us. So remember one thing in your life today. Problem is not in the problem, but problem is we don't know the solution for the problem. As and when we get solution for the problem itself turns to opportunity. There are two types of persons. Some can get opportunities, number of opportunities in their life, but always they say it's a problem, it's a problem, it's a problem. But very few in this world, they are having problems, but they consider problem itself is an opportunity. Today you have to decide you are in which group. So emotional health means how you will get freedom from emotional disturbances. And then social health means number of problems are coming from the society. How you cope up with that social frame, that is called social health. And spiritual health means inner peace, joy, satisfaction, and happiness. Spiritual health, nothing to do with religion. Religion is totally different. Spiritual health is totally different. So, spiritual health means inner peace and happiness. If this is the fundamental idea of a human, then where is the problem? Why we are not capable to understand this? And to understand this fundamental policy of the health, fundamental idea of the health, we have to understand this properly. To achieve the proper integrated health, there are three things we have to understand. We can say that those are three golden rules. The first rule is part and whole relationship. Second is relationship between different parts. And third is equity of all the parts. What is the meaning of part and whole relationship? My physical personality is also related to my whole personality. Mental is also related to whole. Emotional is also related to whole personality. Social and spiritual is also related to whole personality. So all the parts are related to whole. What is second? Relationship between the different parts. Means physical is related to mental. Mental is related to emotional. Emotional is related to social. Social is related to spiritual. And all the parts are interrelated. What is the third? Equality of all the parts. Here is the problem of the whole world. They are not capable to understand this third fundamental principle. What is the meaning of equality of all the parts? Physical is important, but similarly, mental is also important. Emotional is important, social is also important, and spiritual is also important. The problem of the modern people, modern world, modern teachers, they feel physical personality is the gross personality and all other four personalities are subtle personalities. They are not giving more weightage to this, and that's why they are always involved in physical. Unfortunately, in recent days, number of people committed suicides. We have seen this. And it is surprising to note, most of the people, they committed suicide. And when people found, they found that such people are utilizing 6 hours, 7 hours physical training. Then what was the problem? Why they committed the suicide? And the reason was they were physically fit, but not mentally and emotionally. So today we have to understand physical is important, but also mental, emotional, social, and spiritual is also important. If this philosophy is so easy, within 10 minutes we understood, I hope, why our personality is not integrated. Some are physically fit, not mentally. Some are mentally fit, not spiritually. Why? What is the reason? And the reason is our mental state. If our mental state is disturbed, it affects our all the 5 aspects of personality. So remember, the key of success is our mental health. And that's why yoga? Yoga is not physical acrobatics. Maybe you are getting results at physical level. Yes, maybe. But what is the purpose of yoga? What is the purpose of traditional yoga? All the great masters, they are mentioning only one thing, that yoga is to achieve perfect coordination between different aspects of personality and to achieve integrated health. So perhaps there is the only one subject today by which we are capable to achieve this integrated health which we want today. So this is mentioned by all the ancient masters, all the ancient texts. Thank you very much to Vidya madam when she introduced about my work. Just I'm collecting all the ancient manuscripts, all the great masters, they mentioned everything very clearly. It is not possible to speak about all the ancient texts published, but you can visit the website. All the ancient masters, they are talking about only one thing, that if you want to achieve health, total integration is very, very important. But then today we have to understand which are the factors, those who are disturbing our integrated health. So now, as I told you, mental and emotional personalities are very, very important. If our mental and emotional personalities are collapsed, then it is very difficult to achieve success. And number of problems are there from the society, hammering every day on our mental and emotional problems levels, and problems are coming such as frustration, phobias, depression, conflict, negativity, anxiety, psychosomatic, number of problems are there. And we don't know what is to be done because no one taught us what is the solution for this. Today, we have to understand this very clearly. Remember, it is the alarming sign today, because if you go through the WHO found findings, observations, they say that mental instability and illnesses, 1/6 of the health disorders in India, 1/6. It means that 20 crore patients are there, they are suffering with mental problems. And remember, this data was prior to pandemic. It is 2019 data. It means that near about 15% people, they are suffering in all over the world, as they say. In India, near about 20 crore patients are there, those who are suffering with mental problems. And it is really alarming sign. So I would like to again thank for the organizers to organize this beautiful, timely workshop here. So let us see a little bit further what is the solution as well. If you understand this diagram, you will understand where is the problem. What is the root cause of such problems? Remember, as I told you, we have 5 aspects of personality. Here we are part of society, and society has only one assignment, and that is just fault finding mission. They always like to find your problems, and they always like to create troubles to you. They are hammering at your emotional problems, emotional levels. And up to certain level, we try to cope up with the problems. But after some time, what happens? Our emotional level is totally full, and we don't know what is to be done. No one taught us how to release the problems at emotional level. No one taught us. But this body is a beautiful machine made by Almighty. And then what happens? Internally, problem shifted to lower personality, and that is called your mental personality. So the problems which were at emotional level shifted to your mental level. Up to certain level, we feel very satisfied, very calm, quiet, very happy. But still hammering is going on from social arena continuously, and emotional level is full, and now mental level is also full. We don't know what is to be done because no one taught us. And now again, body is a beautiful machine. Internally, transfer is going on. The problem which were at emotional level shifted to mental level, and now mental level is also full, shifted to physical level at your gross body. Now try to understand here. From emotional level, problems shifted to mental. But from mental level, problems are not shifted. Just symptoms of the problems shifted to your physical level. Now, problem is still at your mental level and emotional level. It is a simple logic now. If problem is at mental level, problem is at emotional level, you have to treat your mental and emotional level. What is the use of treating your gross body? So here we have to understand very clearly why yoga, why yogic practices. If the problems are shifted from emotional to mental and from mental to physical, can it be possible? If you give training in such a proper way to body, you can get success at mind level and you can get success at emotional level. Is there any subject? Is there any therapy? Is there any remedy for this? And answer is yes. The only remedy, which is called yoga, you perform through body, but it is not for the body, it is for the mind. So remember, yoga is not physical, it is psychophysical in nature. It is a clear understanding. Unfortunately, modern exercise system is not capable to understand the role between body and mind or body and emotion. That's why they superimpose modern exercise system on traditional yogic system. Physical education and yoga education both are beautiful subjects. Both are very important. But the problem is that when we are not capable to understand the fundamental principles of physical education and fundamental principles of yoga, we distort yoga and also distort the physical education, unfortunately. Whole life we can perform yoga, it is no use, because unless and until we are not performing through proper techniques, proper fundamental principle, it is not possible. So all the practices which you have to perform through body, such as asana, pranayam, bandha mudra, shuddhi kriya, by which you perform through body, but it is not for the body, it is for the mind, it is for the emotional level to be stabilized. From below, you can achieve success. And from up, which is spiritual, higher personality, you can practice some yamas, niyamas, ethics and codes of conduct, dharana, dhyana, chanting of mantras, chanting of Om, already suggested by Professor Nathalia. All such practices are there by which you can reduce the burden which is coming from this society. See, nowadays about pandemic, the fear factor was very high with the people. And people, they were not capable to understand how to release the pressure. And that's why it was a disaster. So remember, those who understood this, they are sitting like a monk in this materialistic world. But those who are not capable to understand this fundamental principle of all the aspects of personality, they don't know what is to be done. So remember here, a simple mechanism I'm telling about mental health. Simple mechanism. Why diseases are there? Remember, all our activities are mental activities. Because in every activity, mind is always involved. Therefore, the process of getting sick and of cure are essentially mental processes. They are not physical, they are mental processes. Thus, all the disorders are psychosomatic because they involve interaction between mind and body in their origin, development, and cure. If we are capable to understand this fact, and if we know how to give training to the mind, we are master of the situation. Now, modern medical science is also accepting that most of the diseases, more than 95% diseases, are only because of mind. And we have beautiful science, which is called yoga, by which we are capable to achieve success in our life. So, what is life today? Try to understand. Life is a mind game. Today, you have to decide, you are slave of your mind or you are master of your mind. Today is the need of the hour. So here, those thoughts I'm not telling. All the ancient texts, they're talking about same thing. What they're telling? Say, for example, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. What they say? What is yoga? Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. What is the meaning of this? It is complete cessation of modification thoughts. Means what? More thoughts, more problem. Less thoughts, less problem. Because if more thoughts are there, we don't know how to cover those thoughts, how to manage such things. For example, one day at the same time, if you want to perform number of things, see what is going on with you. And that's why this is the beautiful philosophy about mind explained in ancient texts. If we understood this, we will understand why for yoga. Our mind has 5 different levels. It is working. And then later part, I will also tell you what is to be done to stabilize this mind, definitely. So mind has different 5 levels. And in Sanskrit, they are called Kshipta, Moodha, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. What is the definition of yoga just now we have seen? Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. 2000 years back, a great master has mentioned in the manuscripts, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Those 5 levels are called Kshipta, Moodha, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. The definition of yoga is complete cessation of modification of thoughts. Unless and until there is no complete stoppage of the thoughts, not possible to achieve success. That's why less thoughts, less problems. This is the fundamental philosophy. Now let us try to understand with this diagram. There are 5 levels of your mind which is working. We don't know how this mind is culprit. Try to understand. हमें यही पता नहीं है कि हमारा शत्रु है मन. Mind is the culprit. Mind is rebellious. If you tell to the mind, sit down, mind will say, no, I want to stand. If you tell to the mind, okay, now stand, mind will say, now I want to sit. Mind is not ready to accept anything. Mind make you dance. So here, what exactly going on? The Kshipta stage, if you consider this circle as your mind and arrows like a thought, see what is going on with you. Sometimes we are at Kshipta level. We don't know what is to be done. Then comparatively Kshipta, Moodha is better. Because at least thoughts are in one direction. But we want total annihilation or total removation of the thoughts. Vikshipta means comparatively Kshipta and Moodha. Vikshipta is better because less thoughts are there, means more stability. What is the equation for us? More thoughts, less stability. Less thoughts, more stability. So we want more stability, then less thoughts must be there. Then Ekagra, one-pointedness. Comparatively Kshipta, Moodha, Vikshipta, Ekagra is good. Why it is good? Because you are one-pointed. But again remember, one-pointedness is also dangerous because not complete, because after one thought, second is coming, after second, third is coming. So it's a chain of thoughts. And again you reach up to the Kshipta level. And finally, what is the integrated personality? And that is called Niruddha, complete cessation of modification of thoughts. Once you reach there, there is no problem left in your life. So here, why yoga? Yoga is not to achieve 2 kg weight to reduction 2 kg weight or the flexibility. That is just physical norm. But all the practices designed in yoga, such as yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, bandha mudra, all the practices. For example, all types of yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, dhyana, mantra, laya, hatha, all the practices are for what? And the answer is downfall of the vrittis or the thoughts by which we are stable. And once we are stable, automatically it is possible to achieve integrated personality. So the aim of yoga is to achieve integration of personality. This is the whole philosophy given. When I was working, I found number of manuscripts mentioned about how to achieve control over such things. Where is the problem? What are the therapeutical references? What are the therapeutical practices by which we are capable to achieve control over this, our fluctuation of mind, and to stop our disaster in our life? So the book was therapeutical references in ancient traditional yoga texts. All the ancient manuscripts, they are talking about same thing, how to maintain your health, how to achieve stability at your mind. So all the great masters they are talking about. Just I would like to give 2-3 references from ancient texts. See, this yoga field is very vast. Unfortunately, we consider it is just only physical acrobatics. And that's why we are not capable to get proper results, proper benefits from this yoga. So for example, one text was there, Hatha Pradipika. What they say? Asanena rujohanti pranayamena patakam. Pratyaharena yogindro vikaro hanti manasam. Try to understand. Vikara hanti manasam means what? If you perform those practices, end of the mental ills. For example, dharanaya manodhairyam dhyanat aishwarya adbhutam. So what is the meaning of this? If you perform dharana, automatically you get mental stability. So such practices to be performed only and only for mind. And when your mind level is proper, automatically you are master of the situation. So just see one example about asana. How does practice of asana bring mental health? Because everyone is involved in practicing asana. Unfortunately, some people consider asana is only yoga, which is a big misunderstanding. But still, when you perform asana, Professor Natalia explained beautifully the mechanism about asana. They are not physical, but they are more psychophysical. And another text, traditional yoga text, Yogananda Rasayana, is also talking about this psychological disorders. Then some more texts are there. For example, Matsyendra Samhita. What Matsyendra Samhita is suggesting about asana? The text says Manasaha Sthira Karanam. If you want to stable your mind, you should perform asana. For example, Yoga Pradipika or Yoga Sanam. They are also telling same thing. Removal of Adhi, which is mental ill, purification of the mind, Manas Shuddhi. So all the texts or most of the texts, they are talking about same thing, and that is all the practices are only and only for the stability of the mind. Now the question is that theoretically we understood everything. Now the question is, what is to be performed by which we are capable to stabilize this mind? And now Natalia also gave one program. I would like to give one proper program also to you. If you have 30 minutes, 40 minutes, a small routine you can perform every day. See, remember, in your everyday routine, you can add 4 at least asanas, because asanas are related to your spine. And there are 4 different movements of the spine. Which are those 4 movements? Forward bending, backward bending, lateral bending, and twist. When you perform those asanas, automatically you get spine flexible. What is the definition of the health? If you are 18 years old, but your spine is rigid, then you are old. But if you are 80 or 90 years old, but your spine is flexible, then you are healthy. This is the simple definition of health. So When your spine is flexible, automatically you are healthy. And once the spine is working properly, you increase the tone of the abdominal muscles, and most of the organs which are situated at your stomach region, they are toned up properly. So when you perform some practices, definitely perform 4 asanas in your program. Then you can add one more asana, topsy-turvy pose. For example, Shirshasana, Sarvangasana, Viparita Karani, anyone. But remember, if you are having any kind of problem, for example, high blood pressure or some physical problems or medical problems, it is better to concern your teacher. Because sometimes when you perform those topsy-turvy pose and high blood pressure is there, some problems are there, it is better not to perform such things. So remember, why changing of polarity is important? Because to get desired effects, always topsy-turvy poses are also very important. And then between 2 asanas, it is very important to perform Shavasana. This is the biggest misunderstanding in the field of physical education and in the field of yoga. There are 2 types of exercises we know. One is called static exercises, another is dynamic exercises. When you perform dynamic exercises, the purpose is different. When you perform static exercises, purpose is different. Dynamic practices means when repetitions are there and you are not maintaining the final position, that is called dynamic. And why you perform dynamic practices? To develop your motor qualities, the simple mechanism. Which are the motor qualities? Strength, speed, endurance, agility, flexibility, and neuromuscular coordination. If you want to develop that, go for dynamic exercises. I am not telling here what is right, what is wrong. I am just telling you should understand the fundamental principles of physical education and fundamental principles of yoga education. What you want exactly? What is your intention? If your intention is develop muscle mass of your biceps, directly go for dumbbells, gym, and develop your biceps. But don't tell it is dumbbells yoga. The problem of the world is this. They know yoga is a hot cake. They use anything with anything. So why Shavasana is important? After every practice, you stretch. In fact, in asana, static stretching, you try to stretch the muscles. And when you stretch the muscle, automatically the muscle get relaxation. And when you perform Shavasana after every asana, you get more result at your mind level. You get tranquilizing effect at your mind level. That's why Shavasana or Makarasana is important. Then you can go for Shuddhi Kriya like Kapalabhati, and you can go for one Bandha as well, Uddiyana Bandha, for proper circulation of blood. It is very important. Then you can go for one Pranayam, any of the Pranayam, Anulom, Vilom, you can go Surya Vedana, Ujjayi, any Pranayam. And then why Pranayam is so important? Because control our autonomic nervous system. You know, nervous system is very important. Sometimes someone is giving you some assignment at 11th hour. And we say, oh, I am nervous. What is the meaning of I am nervous? Because at that time, the function of nervous system is not proper. So remember, such practices are useful. And then finally, go for just sitting comfortably, for just in the meditation. If you have your any mantra, chant the mantra, or just observe your breathing pattern. So remember, all the practices designed in yoga, maybe it is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, whatever practices you are performing, remember one thing. It is only and only for mental health. You use your body, but not for the gross body. It is for the mind and mental health. So remember, modern distorted styles of yoga means several problems today. But traditional yoga means all the solution. What you want? You want problems or you want solution? Unfortunately, I don't know the swarup of yoga, the nature of yoga is changing to modern era. From ancient to modern era, the swarupa, the nature of yoga is changing. When all the great masters, they introduce yoga, the purpose was to witness your true nature, that you are consciousness. Then change happened and people started using yoga only to understand spiritual truth, Adhyatmika yoga. Then people started using yoga only to understand through buddhi, intellect, buddhi yoga. Then people started using yoga only for therapy, that is chikitsa yoga. Then people started using yoga for vyayama and they named exercise vyayama yoga. Then people started using yoga as a sports. Then people started using as a krida yoga. Today it is Spardha yoga. I don't know exactly we are going towards the traditional yoga or we are going away from the traditional yoga. This is the question I really would like to put in your court today to decide really what is yoga. Because all the ancient texts, they are talking about one thing. For example, Gorakshanatha, a great master who systematized Hatha Yoga, says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho bandhaya vishaya sangi mukte nirvishayam manaha. For a human being, mind alone is at the very cause of both bondage and liberation. Mind, when attached to material objects, causes bondage, while mind rendered free from worldly objects lead to mukti. What we want today? We want mukti from the problems or we want more problems? Today, I feel this workshop is the platform to think about what exactly we want. And the final conclusion from my side is this is the essence of traditional yoga explained in Bhagavad Gita. Bandhuratma namastasya naipatme atmana jita anatmanastu shatrutve varte tatmeva shatruvat. What is the meaning of this? For the one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be his greatest enemy. So, dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, today we have to decide, you are boss of your mind or you are slave of your mind. आप मन के गुलाम हो या मन के मालिक हो, ये आपको समझना है. मन आपको नचाएगा या आप मन को नचाओगे, ये आपको सोचना है. Today you have to understand. And I hope if you perform all such yogic practices properly mentioned in traditional yoga texts with proper understanding of fundamental principle, then it is possible to achieve this whole integrated personality, at the same time also to achieve mental health and total fitness in your life. So this is the vast spectrum of mental health mentioned in traditional yoga texts through which it is possible to achieve integrated health. I would like to convey very humble thanks to all the organizers, to Coordinator Dr. Shobha Madam, all the organizers, staff members of this Goyal Arts and Commerce College, all the stalwarts from the field of physical education, the seekers from the yoga, for giving this opportunity to speak something about the real essence of traditional yoga by which we are capable to achieve mental health. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi.
Thank you, sir, for such a one session and interaction with all of us. It was worth listening to your talk and getting a lot of insights regarding yoga theory. Thanks for your valuable insights for all of us. I request Dr. Mahesh Deshpande, sir, to comment on sir's session. Over to you, Professor Dr. Mahesh Deshpande.
I think sir, if somebody has question, let them ask question and then I will conclude it.
Okay. Actually, nobody has posted any question in the chat box. So if any participant would like to ask question, please post those in the chat box. all the participants have enjoyed Sir's presentation, and there are comments in the chat box that wonderful session, nice session, very informative and organized. So I'm sure that we all have enjoyed this session. Not only this session, but the previous sessions as well. Today, one in the morning, and we had 2 technical sessions yesterday. So all were very interesting and informative sessions. Okay, we have a question
Sir,
to you, sir.
Suryavanshi sir, there is a
So the
question. There is one question in chat box. Yoga and outdoor activities are different, so which one is better? Mohammad Firoz asked this question. Yoga and outdoor activities. Yes.
What is the meaning of outdoor activities for you, Mohammad ji? You want to tell outdoor activities dynamic and indoor activities static? Or why I'm asking this? Because you can perform static yogic practices also outdoor. So question is not so clear, but I consider you want to understand what is the difference between dynamic practices and static, which are better. Rather to tell
Mohammad
which are
sir,
better.
you can talk. Mohammad sir, you can talk. You are allowed to talk.
Yeah.
Mohammad sir, you can talk.
I feel it is not possible for him to. May I just clarify the answer?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. See, I'm not telling which exercise is good, which is bad. I'm not telling what is your purpose that you have to understand. If you consider outdoor is dynamic practices, very good, no problem, go for this. But the intention must be very clear what for you have to practice. So you have to understand. If you want dynamic, you have to develop the water qualities, go for dynamic. You want that your mind should be stabilized, go for static. This is the simple mechanism I'm telling to you.
For illustrating the answer, we have one more question, which is by Savita. She wants to ask that there are many ways to perform pranayama. Wants to know which one is proper and scientific.
Try to see, pranayama is very subtle topic. The first thing is you should not practice pranayama by watching the YouTube, frankly speaking, because there are number of ifs and buts. So to practice pranayama, you should get proper knowledge from the teacher. The second thing is directly going for the pranayama is not so good. First, you have to maintain the proper breathing awareness. And then only it is possible to go and to practice pranayama. So better, I would like to suggest, rather to tell which is good pranayama and which is bad pranayama. There is no good or bad pranayama. There are fundamental principles we have to understand. And through practice, under the guidance of the proper teacher, then only it is possible for you to go for pranayama. Is it clear?
I'm sure that the participant who asked this question received clarity from Sir. Now we have one more question which is posted by Meera, and the question is, what is the simplest way or practices to reduce stress level which occurs due to lifestyle changes during pandemic?
See, first, what is stress you have to understand. Unfortunately, we consider stress is always negative. Remember, stress is not negative, stress is not even positive. Stress is stress. But still there are two types of stress, they say. One is eustress, another is distress. Whatever stress term we use today, it is called distress. But what is the stress? First we have to understand, then we'll get answer. When there is any kind of change in our life, there is a change in our body pattern, change in our response. So there are two things we have to understand. One is the stressor by which it creates the change. Another is you. Two things are there. When stressors are strong and you are weak, it is called distress. But when stressors are weak and you are strong, that is called eustress. Sometimes stress is important to develop your efficiency because it is working like a motivation. But as you asked, I feel you are asking about distress, the negative type of. So at that time, you have to practice some of the asanas, some of the breathing practices, and maybe it is not possible, try to relax your life. For example, hear the songs, go and play, enjoy with your family. Such things are also important to reduce the stress level or to achieve control over the stressors, so that such practices will develop your own efficiency and you are strong than the stressors, which will be great situations for your lifestyle.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one last question, which is asked by Balaji. And the question is, if we are engaging in material desire, then is there any chance to achieve self-realization?
See, try to understand. All the philosophies, they say, yes, ultimate aim is to understand your true nature. But the practical thing is that we are part of this materialistic world. What to do? If someone will tell, go to Himalayas and stay there, it is no worth. So in this practical world, you have to understand that how to detach with the things. It is called alipta with lipta. That you have to understand. Like a lotus flower. कमल कैसे खिलता है, मिट्टी में होता है, पानी में होता है, लेकिन उसको टच नहीं करते हैं. So try to understand. Slowly you have to detach with this materialistic world. And if you perform proper practices, you will understand what is truth and what is false in your life. You will understand what is real and what is unreal in your life. Once you are capable to understand this, slowly you will be able to detach with materialistic world. But forcefully, if you try to detach, it may create trouble in your life. So remember, it's a process. It needs proper practices and proper understanding about the situation. But practices will lead definitely from detachment of the materialistic world to the attachment to the real spiritual world.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful explanation. I'm sure all participants, those who raised their queries, their doubts have been clarified. Now let's move to the further proceedings, and I call upon Professor Dr. Mahesh Deshpande, sir, to interact with all of us. Over to you, Deshpande, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Manmat ji, for a great speech you have given. Dr. Manmat is a stalwart working from last so many years in the field of yoga, and he's spreading yoga, traditional yoga, that is specifically traditional yoga, through many different ways, like literature. He is creating a lot of literature. I have purchased some books, beautiful books. Original material is there in those books. He is organizing so many workshops, conferences, debates, and spreading this yoga through all these different means. He has very clearly explained the importance of traditional yoga, the key of mental health. He has explained those five paths, and I remember about 5 koshas, the Panchakoshatmak Vikas, that is Annamay Kosh, Pranamay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vijnanamay Kosh, and Anandamay Kosh. All these you have to develop for achieving health. Jaggi Vasudev, we all know him very well. He has said, mind is not in any one place. It is not in one place. Every cell in the body has its own intelligence. The brain is sitting in your head, but the mind is all over the place in your body. And that is why Annamaya Kosh, that is the body, is very important to develop with the help of different means. And asanas is one of the very great means to develop your body. He also says the most precious thing in life is life itself. Our life is most precious thing. So what is our life today? If you see our lifestyle, that is creating all problems. That is creating all problems. So only the lifestyle, if you change, you may get good health. And yoga is nothing but the lifestyle. So what is health? According to the Indian spirituality, your body and mind is working well and your energy is supporting it. That is health. My body, my mind, everything is working well. And all the systems working in my body, they are supporting it. The energy I'm getting for working my body and mind. If it is in smooth way, then we can call it health. So when your life is happening in full flow, that is health. So health is not only an idea, it is not a medical idea, I will tell you. We think they always give the nomenclature, so and so hospital and healthcare. So it is healthcare. Medical field is healthcare. And we had a tradition of health. So we have to create a health culture. Without creating health culture, we will never get health. So that he has explained in his lecture very well. So we must try to shift from Kshipta to Niruddha. That is cessation of modifications. So we must try to go to conscious mind, understand conscious mind, so that we can understand through yoga. Yoga is the best way to understand this, to move from Kshipta to Niruddha. And Dr. Manmath has explained it very clearly and very in very easy way. So he has that he has done that much of study. So I thanks to Dr. Manmath Garote, and also I'm very thankful to organizing committee, Dr. Shobha, the principal of the college, and all other organizing committee members. Thank you. Thank you for calling me as a chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights with all of us. Now we are towards the end of the concluding part of a two-day international webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness. There are many posts in the chat box regarding sharing of feedback link. Feedback link would be shared in a minute's time. So please bear with us. And I call upon Dr. Nisha More, madam, to propose vote of thanks of technical session 4. Over to you, Nisha, madam.
Good afternoon to all. Thank you so much, Chairperson, Professor Dr. Mahesh Deshpande, and resource person of this session, Professor Dr. Manmath Garote. I, Dr. Nisha More, Department of Political Science, Srimati C.K. Goel College, would like to convey special thank to you on the behalf of Srimati C.K. Goel, Arts and Commerce College, Dapodi. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. It will be a great pleasure for us to listen to you again in our future events. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. We are charmed by your sharp fluency. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Madam, for proposing vote of thanks. With this, we have come to conclusion of technical session 4 as well. I hand over the dais to Shakur Sayyed, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We will have a 5 minutes break. After the 5 minutes break, we'll start the concluding session. By the time, I will hand over the session to next anchor, Dr. Maya Mainkar.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll have 5 minutes break and afterwards we'll start with our valedictory session. Just to sum up, the 2 days international level online webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness, that is on 24th and 25th August. We had the first technical session with the keynotes address by Dr. B.R. Shezwal. Then the technical session 2 was conducted by Dr. Sopan Kange, and then the resource person was Dr. Kaukab Azim. Then in a technical session 3rd, we have Professor Dr. Deepak Shenkar as a chairperson, and resource person was Professor Dr. Natalia Solvay. She addressed the audience in her technical session 3. In technical session 4, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., chairperson was Dr. Mahesh Deshpande, and the resource person was Dr. Manmat Garote. So we had wonderful sessions for last 2 days, and hope everybody must have enjoyed all the sessions. And before we start the technical session, I think we'll take participants' point of view here, sir. Shall we? Vidya ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those who want to speak over here, they are welcome. Or otherwise, shall I call upon the name, ma'am?
Yes.
I have 2 names here. One is Dr. Surekha Daftare. I request Dr. Surekha Daftare to present her views. Dr. Surekha Daftare, ma'am, please. Manmat sir is getting compliments. Dr. Neeraj said it's a very nice session. Really, it was a wonderfully presented session, and the information was very good.
Dr. Surekha?
Yes, Dr. Surekha Daftare.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Please,
thank you.
please
Thank you.
proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Janata Shikshan Sanstha's Srimati C.K. Goyal College Dapodi organized this international e-conference from last 2 days. I am very much thankful to Srimati C.K. Goyal College, Pracharya Principal Pawar sir, Coordinator Dr. Shobha Shinde ma'am. They chosen a very excellent theme for this conference, because last 1.5 years, whole world is suffering from COVID-19 pandemic situation. And in this situation, every person need to be strong mentally and physically. And I think this conference will helpful to all people to develop their mental and physical health very well. I'm very much thankful to organizer to given chance to present my views on this platform. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for presenting your views on the webinar. Indonesia is made up of a whopping 17,800 islands, something that would take you a lifetime to explore. It's also home to a vast range of fauna and flora, as well as countless linguistic and ethnic groups and incredible landscapes. And we have a senior lecturer, Dr. Faidullah from Indonesia. I request Dr. Faidullah to present his views. Dr. Faidullah. Sir. Dr. Faidullah, sir, are you there? Can you hear me? Unmute yourself. Dr. Faidullah, are you there? Can you hear me? Now we are receiving. Yes.
I think he is not there.
Okay, he's not there. So before we proceed, we have wonderful feedback from the participants, and Dr. Ajit Singh said, thank you for all organization and respected sir and madam. Dattatri said, thank you for all organization, respected sir and madam. Dr. Kulvinder said, thanks for wonderful session. Then Dr. Manmat sir and Dr. Natalia, thank you for your wonderful session. All these remarks we are receiving from our participants. Then Dr. B. Gopal said, thank you all for organization and respected sir and madam. Thank you once again. Then people are asking for feedback links. Yes, we are surely providing you with feedback links. We'll provide you very shortly, because we are still not done with our conference, and that's why if somebody wants to present their views, kindly raise your hands so that I will come to know that you want to present your views. Thank you so much. Then Dr. Natalia madam and Dr. Garote sir, thanking both of you by heart. So such a nice informative session. And again, there are so many people, they are praising the organizers, they are praising the resource persons. So knowledgeful session again, wow. Wonderful presentation, KLN Rao. Then Ajit Singh, Fateh Singh Parmar, Shri Vijay Patel College, College of Physical Education has also given his email address and said very nice session by Dr. Neeraj. And someone is saying, yes, we really it was really enjoyable, excellent webinar, excellent session. So we are receiving so many good feedbacks from the participants. Hopefully everybody must have enjoyed the session to the fullest, and we are also happy to be with you all. And now because Dr. Faidullah is not present right now, I just request Ratna to play some motivational videos, and we'll take a break of 2 minutes and we'll come back. Okay, Ratna, please play some motivational videos. And yes, and if somebody has raised a hand.
No, madam. Just I want to express my sincere thanks to Dr. D.B. Shirode for handling the technical session for last 2 days for this international conference. Once again, on behalf of organizing committee, I express my sincere thanks to Dr. D.B. Shirode.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anyone who wants to share their views? You can. Yes, you can.
तोपर्यंत काय
Is there anybody who wants to share something? Everybody has written it was an informative and knowledgeable session. Everybody wanted that kind of information, and that knowledge was much required. And fortunately, we have got wonderful resource persons, and they have satisfied our participants, and participants have given wonderful feedback. So that is ultimately the success of any webinar or any conference. So that is very important. When we organize anything and we get good feedback, then we naturally get motivated, we naturally get inspired, and we can serve you in a better way. We can again organize and conduct webinars on different topics of your interest. And I think all these feedbacks are very required and appropriate and acceptable and motivating too. So Ratna, please, can you play the videos?
Before she plays the videos, I
Yes.
must thanks to Dr. Maya Mainkar madam for handling the program nicely.
Thank you so much.
The inauguration session and the concluding session to be start shortly. Once
Thank you.
again, thank you on behalf of organizing committee.
Thank you so much, sir. So kind of you.
My pleasure. Actually, we are waiting for the chief guest.
Yes, actually.
Dr. Sanjuji Sonone will
Yes.
join the session shortly.
Sure.
So we are waiting for Dr. Sanju Sonone.
Yes, sir. Mr. Panduran Naik, if you want to share your views, you can. Please. Unmute yourself and then present your views.
आता सगळे सदस्य नाही आहेत.
Hello. I think Dr. Sonal sir is arrived.
Okay, sir. No issues. No issues at all.
Just I saw him. He's joining us shortly.
Okay. Has he joined?
Yet not, but he's trying.
Okay. No problem, sir.
Sir is already joined.
Yes, Sureka madam.
Dr. Soron sir is already joined.
Dr. Sunil sir has joined.
Yes.
Anand sir is there.
He left.
Okay, sir.
Left again.
Hey. Oh. Yes, madam.
Yes.
Let us start.
So, shall we start the
Yes,
validity
again.
session? Shobha ma'am,
He left the meeting again.
he left again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll wait for him.
Take minute. Wait for 5 minutes, madam.
Okay. No issues, sir.
A few years back, I was visiting one of my friends in Vienna, Austria, and from there I was meant to go to Florence, Italy, to give a talk. My friend dropped me at the Vienna International Terminal. I checked in and settled down and waited for my flight to depart. The airline company made an announcement that my flight was delayed by about 6 hours, which would mean that I wouldn't be able to make for my talk in Florence on time. I pulled up my fancy smartphone wanting to make a call. In fact, my smartphone had some of the smartest apps, and being a monk, one of the apps I had on my phone was prayer beads, chanting beads called Maimala. With all these fancy apps, there was still a problem. I had no reception, no connectivity, no network coverage, and I couldn't make a call. I didn't even have Wi-Fi connectivity. But right across me was sitting a European lady, gentle elderly lady, and she had an old Nokia phone. I don't even know which generation. And you would have to be a bodybuilder probably to type a message on that phone. But she had full connectivity. She'd been speaking for about 45 minutes. I thought to myself, apps are definitely great, but connectivity is crucial, is important. Ladies and gentlemen, in our lives, our possessions, homes, cars, gadgets, wealth, achievements, affluence, our success, our fame, our influence are all like apps. They're important. But what is crucial and very important is our connection, our connectivity. Therefore, it is necessary that we connect in our lives. We connect to God through prayer, meditation, worship, chanting. It's important that we connect to ourselves through self-reflection, contemplation, introspection. And yes,
it is also very important that we connect to the world, to the people in the world, through affection, contribution, service. Therefore, I say, look up, be grateful. Look in, be blissful. And look out, be useful. When we harmonize these three, connection to God, connection to ourselves, and connection to the world, that harmony is called yoga. That is the essence of yoga. Let us all be yogis and make that deep connect in our lives and achieve fulfillment, satisfaction, contentment, and lead a wholesome, meaningful life. Thank you.
There are two kinds of motivation. The first is external motivation, and the second is inner motivation. External motivation means to be inspired by rewards that others offer. If your boss says work hard and you will get a promotion, that is an external motivation. Now, in that case, the key to your inspiration lies in the hands of others. Tomorrow, he does not give you the promotion, you get demotivated. However, if we are internally motivated, we can always tap into that source irrespective of the external environment. Inspiration or the lack of it don't have to come from the outside. They can all happen from the inside. Remember this formula all your life. If you develop an intense desire, you will then make a firm resolve. When you have a firm resolve, you will put in immense effort, and that is how you will become. But if your desire is weak, the resolve will be mild. The effort will be marginal, and that is how you will become. So, if we wish to lead an inspired life, we must learn to develop the quality of inner motivation. And how do you get motivated from within? Give yourself a strong reason, a strong why. When you have a strong reason for doing something, you automatically become motivated. If you wish to be inspired to follow that healthy diet, if you wish to be inspired to stick to your daily regimen of exercise and yoga every day, convince yourself of the benefits you will get from that regimen. Convince yourself of the harm you will cause yourself by not sticking to the regimen. That is why power. This why power.
You are who you've been looking for. So stop looking for more unless you're looking in a mirror, because it's about time for you to see clearly that you are who you've been looking for. And that empty feeling you got, that hole in your chest, you only got that.
क्या बुजुर्ग आदमी की तरह अभी से बैठ के योगा करता है? इससे बेहतर मेरी तरह पबजी खेल, देख ज्यादा मजा आएगा। अगर आप भी मेरी तरह कम उम्र से योगा करना शुरू किए हो तो आपको भी शायद आपका कोई ना
Dr. Gaikwad sir. डॉक्टर रमेश गायकवाड सर.
हा
सर
बोला
आलेत?
बोला सर.
सर आलेत का?
हॅलो.
हा डॉक्टर सोनाने सर आलेत का?
नाही सर जॉईन नाही दिसत सर.
नाही सर नाही झाली जॉईन अजून. ते आतमध्ये खुर्चीवर टाका. आतमध्ये खुर्चीवर.
Ratna ma'am, you can play the videos. Ratna ma'am.
Here is a problem to play video.
Is there any problem, Ratna? Hello, Ratna, is there any problem?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay.
शेवट सेशन आहे ना.
Thank you, Ratna. Can you hear me? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meditate for some time. And everybody must have taken the advantage of this time. We could get a few minutes to meditate and calm our minds and body. So thank you so much, Ratna. Thank you once again. And now we are heading towards our valedictory section. We'll start our valedictory session now. Good afternoon, thoughtful afternoon, and reflective afternoon to each and everyone present here. Here I say Namaste, Ram Ram, Salam, Sat Sri Akal, and Salam Alaikum. So, victory is not the property of the brilliance. It is the crown for those who bow themselves in front of hard work and confidence. Let us begin today's valedictory session with these notes. Let us salute to the organizers who have worked hard for the success of this international web conference. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of CK Goel College, I, Dr. Maya Mainkar, take this opportunity to welcome one and all to this wonderfully organized international web conference. Dignitaries on the virtual platform, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Sonone Sir, Dean Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Honorable P.V. Devkar Sahib, Chairman, Janta Shikshan Sanstha, Honorable Subhasji Gargote Sir, Secretary, Janta Shikshan Sanstha, Professor Dr. V.J. Pawar Sir, Convener and Principal of CK Goel College, Dapodi, Pune, Dr. S.M. Dadat Sir, Advisor, CK Goel College, Dapodi, Dr. Shobha Shinde Madam, Director of Physical Education and Sports, CK Goel College, Dapodi, Pune, all the office bearers of Janta Shikshan Sanstha, life members of Janta Shikshan Sanstha, all the renowned resource persons, all the learned delegates, teachers, scholars, alumni, and non-teaching staff of CK Goel College. Ladies and gentlemen, to improve the golden moment of opportunity and catch the good that is in our reach is the great art of life. A very warm good evening to the galaxy, good afternoon rather, to the galaxy of intellectuals, invited guests, professor, students, and the participants. I am Dr. Maya Mainkar. It is a matter of immense pride to be with you on this afternoon. On behalf of C.K. Goyal College, I am very delighted to offer a gracious welcome to all of you for the valedictory program of 2 days International Web Conference on Yoga for Health and Mental Fitness, organized by Janta Shikshan Sanstha's Srimati C.K. Goyal College, Department of Physical Education and Sports. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of one who prays. Let us begin our program with a prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This prayer means, lead me from Asat to Sat, that means from untruth to truth. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, and peace. Thank you all. A pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sail. I'm sorry for the disturbance. A pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sail. The sails for this particular notion were adjusted by a person who is not only great motivation to all of us, but a visionary and a person who gave us the belief to bring together this event. This is none other than our beloved principal. To give a warm welcome to everyone assembled here and to present summary of the conference, may I take the pleasure of requesting the respected principal, Dr. Vikas J. Pawar sir, to welcome the gathering. Dr. V. J. Pawar sir, please. So please unmute.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Janta Shikshan Sanstha's College, Dapodi, Pune. I am extremely overwhelmed to get this opportunity to welcome you all on this occasion. International Webinar Day of our elite institution. Children are the future of tomorrow. All the students we witness today receiving honors for their talent will grow up to the responsible citizen of tomorrow. May they grow up to make us proud and active the highest human values by getting knowledge of health and yoga. Apart from it, this is a great occasion to welcome our chief guest of today's validity section, Dr. Sanju Sonone, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies. Today's validity section President, Honorable Subhash Gargute Sir, Secretary of Janta Shikshan Sanstha, Dapodi, Pune. Today's section's resource person, Professor Dr. Natalia Solve, and Professor Dr. Manthan Barote sir. This 2 days webinar, all speaker and chief guest is important views in this webinar. Day one, chief guest Dr. Nitin Karmankar, Vice Chancellor, Savitribai Phule University, Pune. Mr. Raju Bhausar, Arjun and Shiv Chhatrapati Award in Kabaddi. Keynote speaker Dr. B.R. Shezwal sir. Another speaker, Professor Dr. Kawkuf Azam, Saudi Arabia. All day one, everyone is contribute his views on yoga and mental fitness. Seminar first day, total registration is 600 persons. And in this webinar, day one, 179 faculty member participation. I congratulate all my webinar organization committee and thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
madam.
sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again. So, taking the program ahead, talent and skills are the all possible opportunities to grow and bloom. It is because of our advisor, Dr. Somnath M. Dadas sir's constant support and guidance, this conference has turned out to be a great success. And the talent and skills of all the teachers and organizers have bloomed. I would like to request Dr. Somnath M. Dadas sir to kindly share his valuable thoughts on this occasion. Dr. Somnath Dadas sir, please.
Respected Janta Shikshan Sansthas, Governing Council Body, respected Principal of the College, Director of Physical Education Department, and all teaching, non-teaching faculty members, organized today's international webinar on yoga for health and mental fitness on dated 24 August and 25 August. I, Dr. Dadas, very much thankful to our Janta Shikshan Sanstha for granted the permission for this webinar. Yoga is not a religion. It is a way of living that ensures a healthy mind in a healthy body. Yoga helps promote a balanced development of all the physical, mental, and spiritual being. The art of practicing yoga helps in controlling an individual's mind, body, and soul. Respected resource person, your valuable knowledge of yoga will definitely improve immunity and maintain a healthier lifestyle. All of you were present for this webinar on both days from morning 10 a.m. to till 1 p.m. and listen all the webinar. Sincerely, thank you for your valuable presence. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for blessing this occasion and thank you for all your support. We have already taken participants' view, but if Dr. Faidullah is present here, I would like to request Dr. Faidullah to present the views about this conference. Dr. Faidullah. If Dr. Faidullah is present, we can present his views. Is Dr. Faidullah there? I think he's not there. Shall we proceed further, ma'am? Vidya ma'am, Shobha ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yesterday,
Dr. Maya, madam,
Hello.
please proceed.
Maya, madam. Continue, madam.
Okay, okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Hello.
ma'am. Thank you.
Continue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Subhashi Gargote, sir, Secretary, Janta Shikshan Sanstha, to deliver the presidential address. Subhashi Gargote, sir. Honorable Subhashi Gargote, sir. Sir, please unmute yourself. Kindly deliver the presidential address, sir, please.
Thank you, Ankur ma'am. I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are very much audible.
Yes. In that conference, yesterday, we opening the conference and our chief guest, Dr. Nitinji Karmakar, VC of the Savitribai Phule Pune Vidyapith. Then our chief guest, Dr. Sanjeevji Sonone, Dean of the Faculty, Interdisciplinary Studies, Savitribai Phule Pune Vidyapith. Dr. Deepak Mane, Director Board of Sports and Physical Education. Honorable Raju Bhausar, Arjun and Shiva Chhatrapati awardee. In the game Kabaddi, our President, Upatauji Devkar. Then all resource persons, Dr. Natalia, Professor Dr. Ajim, Professor Dr. Sejwal, Dr. Garote. Then special thanks to Mr. Dr. Maya Mankar, Dr. Ramesh Gaikwad, Dr. Shakur Sayyed, and our principal, Professor Dr. Vikasji Pawar, advisor, Professor Dr. Dadaji, then our active coordinator of this web conference, and our physical director, Dr. Shobha Shinde. We arranged this seminar and I am very happy international web conference which is organized in my institution by CK College, and the theme of this conference is related to our daily life. We always say health is wealth. This conference is very useful to pursue the importance of yoga, which keeps our mind and body unstressed or stress-free. I am heartily thankful to all the resource persons on behalf of our institute, Janta Shikshan Sanstha. They are giving to all the members useful tips in the yoga. Then the teachers who have participated in this web conference or professors who are participated in this web seminar, I expect to arrange such kind of international ranking activities in our college frequently. Once again, I am very thankful to all of you on behalf of my institution and our college. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your cooperation, motivation, and support. It was there and it will be there always. We are sure about it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Now, we are on the concluding part of this program. But before that, I would like to add something. Because we are listening to the resource person, we have shared their knowledge, we listened to them, we accepted and we understood the importance of yoga. It is very good for our body as well as it is very good for our mind. So let us conclude the program with a small prayer, 2 lines of prayer. And then we will go further towards the end of the session. Atma Jyoti Pradiptaya Jnana Jyoti Namostute Jnana Jyoti Pradiptaya Brahma Jyoti Namostute Brahma Jyoti Pradiptaya Rashtra Jyoti Namostute Rashtra Jyoti Namostute Rashtra Jyoti Namostute Rashtra Jyoti Namostute.
Very nice lines, madam.
Thank you. It's a
Very nice voice.
Thank you so much once again. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Every celebration is an experience. The external fades away and the internal lingers and echoes in the most depth of our hearts. We are reminded that events like this one are milestones on the journey of life and reminders of God's fidelity all through. As we come to the close of our valedictory ceremony, I wish to invite Dr. Shobha Shinde, but before that, I just want to, on behalf of C.K. Goyal College, I sincerely thank the dignitaries for being with us this afternoon and enlightened us with their enthusiastic remark. I shower my heartfelt gratitude to the professors and everyone of Janata Shikshan Sanstha family for their wholehearted support rendered in the success of this valedictory session, and my heartfelt gratitude to all the members for giving me an opportunity to present a few words in front of you. I have made some mistakes. I know about it. I'm aware about it. And I am really sorry for that. Hope you will all forgive me. And hopefully I'll be with you again in such type of events. Thank you. And here with these notes, I would like to invite Dr. Shobha Shinde, madam, to propose vote of thanks. Dr. Shobha Shinde, ma'am. Please.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. To the one and all present here, honorable chief guests and dignitaries, and most valuable guests. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Srimati C.K. Goyal, Arts, Commerce College and Physical Education, Dapodi. I extend my grateful thanks. I extend my grateful thanks to Mr. Devkar sir, President, Janata Shikshan Sanstha, Dapodi, the Professor Subhash Gargote sir, Secretary, Janata Shikshan Sanstha, Dapodi, Principal Dr. Vikas Pawar sir, Principal C.K. Goyal College, Dapodi, Professor Dr. Somnath Tadas sir, Advisor Web Conference, Dr. Swati Kalbur Madam, IQAC Coordinator, and all Gymkhana Committee members. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to say thank you all, dignitaries and participants, on behalf of the Department of Physical Education, C.K. Goyal College, Dapodi. A special thanks to Dr. Manmat Gharote sir for their valuable guidance and contribution to make this seminar the great success. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Maya Mainkar, Professor Maya Mainkar Madam, Professor Ratnamala Chaudhary Madam, Dr. Shirode sir, Dr. Ramesh Gaikwad sir, Pune Jilla PDSZ and Board of Sports member. I must thank everyone present in the organizing team, Professor Shakur Sayyed sir, Professor Vidya Pathare Madam, Lieutenant Samir sir, Professor P.G. Shinde, and our teaching and non-teaching staff for working hard for the past few days to make this seminar successful. Once again, thank you everyone for making it a great success. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we are concluding.
Yes, ma'am.
With the hope to meet once again. I, Dr. Maya, take your leave for today. Have a nice time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, bye, madam.
Thank you, Gargote sir. Thank you, Gaikwad sir. Thank you, Pawar sir. Thank you all.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nice. Very nice.
हा मॅडम,
Yes, sir.
छान झाला कार्यक्रम, अतिशय सुंदर.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All credit to both my colleagues, my staff member, and my principal and coordinator, all my IQAC department.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
हॅलो मॅडम.
Yes, sir.
आम्ही आपलं ते घेऊन बसलं ना पुढे वाचायला.